Sherlock Holmes returns from the dead 3 years later, disguised as an old bookseller who one day shows up at Dr. Watson's office to sort out a series of loose ends after his supposed death. An empty house across the street, 221B Baker Street to be the perfect place from which Holmes and Watson solve the mystery of the death of the young Adair assassinated by Colonel Morgan, who in turn wanted revenge of Holmes for the death of his faithful ally Professor Moriarty. Thanks to the cunning of Holmes, the case of the revenge fantasy of the Norwood builder who fakes his death could be resolved in order to blame the son of the woman who rejected him many years before. A young girl from Chicago is on the verge of death, a victim of a gunshot. Her husband is dead. The only clues to what happened are colored messages in the form of stick drawings that appear to be there. Holmes has managed to solve the code and sets a trap for the culprit of everything to solve the case. Violet Smith is in the crosshairs of one of the greatest moderns in Africa. If not for immense love for the hair, she would be tied to the work's fate. Thanks for Holmes, Watson, and Violet's secret love, she is safe. The son of a very wealthy and influential man has suddenly disappeared from his preparatory school. The boy's teacher also disappears, but they quickly find him dead. Holmes and Watson, driven by the great reward he offers a man for whoever finds his son, solve the case and discover a great secret. A nasty man is found dead with a harpoon pierced throughout his body in a freshwater sailor's cabin. The trail of coals leads to a poor man without the help of Holmes. This man was accused of a crime that he never committed. Holmes is so repulsed by Milverton, the blacksmith, that after seeing the man murdered by one of his victims, he invokes his own moral philosophy by allowing the murderer to get her way and carry out her revenge. The headliners actually place their boots, and all things point to their destruction begin to the solution to solving this case, and Holmes will find out. The college professor makes the mistake of briefly leaving exams intended. Holmes is asked to determine which of the students is the teacher who took advantage of the opportunity provided by the absent teacher. This is another tale of revenge for an old betrayal convicted which the suspect, who spent much of the story in a secret without where Holmes and Watson have interrogated the suspect previously. Holmes is called in to investigate the disappearance of Wilfred Stratton and comes across a case of a tragic illness that causes the death of a woman, another dead husband, and another injured wife. Holmes realizes that it is all an act of love. Holmes is tasked with locating a stated document lost by another negligent young man. The explication of the whereabouts of the document is changing, but everyone is too grateful to care. The book is very entertaining I have interesting for my taste, saying it tells us some of the adventures of the Sherlock Holmes and Dr. Watson, each one more interesting than the previous one. Personally, the story that I liked the most was The Adventure of the Empty House. Since I prefer suspense stories.